Hello, I'm Bill Lampton. There are so many times when people recommend books to us that we just don't get to fit them into our schedule. I'm so glad that when this book was recommended to me, I put aside time to read it. It's a pulsating, captivating book. There are many features about the book that makes it so memorable. One would be, of course, the tremendous picture that it gives of what it is like to be desperately poor. The family featured is a family in rural Alabama. The mother picks cotton in the fields to gain a few dollars here and a few dollars there to feed her children. She also does washing and ironing with the clothes of wealthier people. Additionally, she will not eat a full meal many times because then there would not be enough food to go around for the children. The story tells of the impact of poverty on the children as they go to school, recognizing quite soon that they are in a different caste, a different class from the majority of the students who look down on them for that reason. The book carries a magnificent story of a mother's love for her family, her lifelong love, and one of the real rewards of sticking with the book until the end is finding out how one of the sons gave her, late in life, a gift that she could never have enjoyed on her own. For those who aspire to be journalists, it's a tremendous story of a writer who, with very little training, achieved the heights of journalism. Rick Bragg served on several newspaper staffs with distinction all the way through. He became a Nieman Fellow at Harvard. He also won the Pulitzer Prize, and he became a staff writer, featured staff writer for the New York Times. As he reveals the highlights of his career, we get insight into some of the major stories of the time. The Susan Smith story, the mother who drowned her two children in Union, South Carolina. The story of a tornado in Rick Bragg's hometown of Piedmont, Alabama. The tornado struck a church, making many of the believers wonder, where was God in all this? And how could the God we have worshipped for so many years allow this to happen? Rick Bragg tells of his time in Haiti when he watched the brutality of a totalitarian government. Near the end of the book, we find that in all of the places he's been, he's never lost his touch with Alabama. And he defies the advice of Thomas Wolfe, the writer who said you can't go home again, because eventually, after all his stints elsewhere, the New York Times sends him to be a correspondent for the New York Times for the South. And so he finds himself once again in that culture that at first was defeating him and his family, yet he emerged from it triumphant and still loved it. Without any reservations, I recommend this book highly for the reasons I've mentioned and for so many others. It's wonderfully written, it's inspiring, it is a true page-turner. Thanks very much for being with me. I'm Bill Lampton.